Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing Hope Valley Season 1, Episode 8, the season finale, which is currently available to stream on Hallmark Plus. Last week, we had wondered, is this show renewed? And the answer is yes, it has been renewed for Season 2. We dropped that information over on girlsgonehallmark.com. We are looking to a Season 2 in 2027. Hallmark did say it had record-breaking viewership, but they did not release what those numbers are. And again, this is a Hallmark Plus exclusive, so I have no idea what that means. Are you glad this series is coming back?
Before I answer that, one is, of course, they had record-breaking. They don't have anything else over there. So, of course, they're like, yeah, this is great. Maybe it did better than when Finding Mr. Christmas was exclusively running
or
there.
Chicken Sisters.
Or Chicken Sisters or Mistletoe Murders originally ran over there. Sure. We don't know the dynamics are working. That's not the word I'm looking for. We don't know the parameters are
exactly.
Working. Anyway, whatever. Yes, I like this series. I'm glad it's coming back for a season 2. I will watch a season 2.
If you are watching along with us, we do want to hear from you. You can find us on Instagram or email us hello@girlsgonehallmark.com. You can even drop us a voicemail, 949-329-8090, with your thoughts on this series. Again, we are not Wen calls the Heart Watchers, so we love your insights onto how this show lines up with that series in ways that we may not realize.
Can I read an email real quick?
Yeah.
That we got. It's kind of adjacent to Hope Valley. It's from Era. She writes, "Hi, Megan and Wendy. Sorry it's been so long that I've emailed or reached out. I got consumed by Dr. Quinn and then by Little House on the Prairie. I'm currently listening to your episode of the latest review of Hope Valley 1874. I heard you mention that there is a Little House on the Prairie reboot coming. I had no idea, and I'm so thrilled. I don't have Netflix, but now that I know it's coming, I will be getting it so I can watch the show. Can I please request that you ladies do a review of the new Little House show that's coming?"
You can certainly request it. How many episodes?
I don't know. With Netflix, who knows? Are they going to drop them all at one time? If that's the case, that doesn't work for our schedule, unfortunately. And it doesn't, on the back end of things, like we don't get the listeners unless it's a week-to-week
an episodic drop.
Yeah.
That is correct. So it drops on July 9th on Netflix, of course. It will be 8 episodes. The series has already been renewed for a second season. It was filmed in Winnipeg, Canada. Do you think we're going to see our buddy Erica Tavle making an appearance on the Prairie?
I don't know. Is there a list of who's in it? Is it a retelling of the original, like, Laura Ingalls Wilder story?
Netflix will drop all 8 episodes of its first season at once, July 9th, 2026.
Sorry, Era.
Yeah, the problem is people won't listen because they're going to be 8 weeks ahead of us. Like, they're going to watch it all in the first week. Might we be doing a first impression of the first episode? Sure. I'd be open to that.
Yeah.
I am interested in watching the show. The new adaptation focuses on the Ingalls family journey to the prairie.
So, yeah.
Is it the same thing?
Who's the cast?
Creator is Rebecca Sonnenschein, stars Ryan Robbins, Rebecca Amzalag, McLean Fish. I unfortunately do not know those names.
I know there was a Hallmark player who was in that show.
Warren Christie.
That's it. I wonder if he has any, like, fire kiss scenes.
I do want to also mention another message that we got regarding Hope Valley on Instagram from Michelle. You had asked, if we're getting more seasons, what are we doing about the Hope Valley 1874 of it all? So Michelle said, I got to thinking after your last episode, wondering if the series would only take place during the year 1874. Then I thought, maybe that's the year the town was established, and I found this. Google overview, AI overview. It says, the Hallmark series focuses on the early rugged frontier days of the settlement, hence the 1874 roots. So she says, maybe 1874 doesn't necessarily mean when the entire series takes place, but that's when Hope Valley became a town with the building of the boarding house.
Got it. That makes
works
sense
for me.
Yeah, you can't stay in 1874 forever because, you know, people get older. Children get older, especially.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's the biggest problem.
Well, we need more than a year's worth of happenings.
Right. Are you ready for synopsis?
Yes, ma'am.
For episode 8, All That Glitters. Gearing up for the boarding house's grand opening, Rebecca and Tom grow closer while investigating a series of robberies. Olivia struggles with a big decision.
All of our regulars are back for this season finale episode. The only new face we have is Everett Golding as Leroy Tidwell, and the return of Tyler Roberge, who appears as the other Mountie Nick we saw back in episode 4.
For a complete cast list, as well as director and writer, visit our website, girlsgonehallmark.com. We also have links to each episode this season in case you've missed one.
Hey, Wendy, what is your first impression of Hope Valley 1874, episode 8?
Well, the real cliffhanger this season is whether Olivia has a single thought that isn't influenced by a man.
My first impression is people of Hope Valley can get down.
To the fiddle. Especially, is her name Peggy, his wife?
Yeah.
Peggy. She was just like,
Grooving to her husband's tunes.
like, there was times I was like, is she dancing to the fiddle or just to like somebody's
Pure vibes.
I was going to say the PA who has to hold the wagon is now in charge of the aux cord, you know?
She's got a little AirPod in.
Pure vibes. Loved it. Loved it. Okay, what did you like about this episode?
Well, overall, I thought this was a fitting season finale. Mm-hmm. I liked some of the forward progress we get on our stories, but it does leave me wanting more. So we get some resolution. The prospectors and the ranchers come together in a way. They all party together. But I like the parting line where Doyle's like, I bought Leroy's land. And he's like, I told you, I'm coming for you. Like, just as we got them coming together, bam, I loved it.
Well, I guess that means that Doyle will be back next season in likely a bigger role, I'm guessing.
The antagonistic
Yeah.
Tom Moore foil. Mm-hmm. I really loved the Tom and Rebecca of it all in this episode.
Finally.
You can just see in so many different moments that Tom really has feelings for Rebecca. And, you know, I mean, some of it's cheesy. He's like, I don't understand the point of a table runner. And she's like, they just warm up the room. And he says, you do that all on your own.
Yeah, it's a little cheesy, but I'm into it.
It's nice. I wouldn't turn down that compliment from somebody.
Like Ben Ayers? No, I wouldn't.
He has a moment with Hattie where Hattie's like, you know, even when they're gone, the love still remains. And he has this like light bulb over his head happening. But I, of course, especially liked the moment while they're in the woods, they're chasing Mr. Maxwell and her back's up against a tree. And it's like, are they going to kiss? And she just says, I don't really know how to move forward. And that was really nice.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then they dance and she puts her head on his chest.
Very sweet.
I really liked it.
All good stuff. I know. I was like, finally, we're getting there. Like, we did start out as frenemies.
Sure.
We are finally getting there, for sure. I think especially after last week's big, you know, hostage situation, like, I think that brought them closer together for sure. But it did take Tom 8 episodes to kind of see who Rebecca is, understand who she is, respect who she is as, you know, kind of a modern day
MacGyver.
Yes, that's nice. But it feels earned. Like, finally. That's why I like when they're slow dancing and she was just like, you know, so excited that she has the ring back and she's like, I'll eventually like stop wearing it. Like, she's letting him know, like, I'm available.
I'm not going to keep it forever. I thought that was great. And I thought it was great that she comes to the realization when Leroy says, oh, Tom suddenly ran into money troubles and she knows what he did. I thought that was all great.
Agree. I'm really pleased that we finally have some real stakes for Rebecca. Like, this is what this season has been building towards. Like, for 8 episodes, 7 episodes, she's been saying, like, I'm afraid of Jim's family and their influence, really like the influence stuff. Like, she has made it clear that his family has money and they can influence dirty cops, I'm quoting, and what they're capable of. And we're finally seeing some like tangible fears come true, I guess. So while the theft accusation that she's being accused of, like,
And what did she steal?
I don't know if I fully buy it. Because let me talk it through for a second. What could she have taken that is so big that she's been out on the run and the family would have to go after her to get it?
That's a great question.
Like, what could it be? Or are they just being revengeful because she left or they didn't like her ever?
See, I don't think she stole anything.
I agree.
That wasn't hers. My feeling is that the family is saying that was rightfully ours. That was a family something or other. It belonged to us. Yes, it belonged to our son, but when he died, that's ours now.
But what?
But I don't know. But
Not Sarah.
No, and I don't think it's a case of like she broke into their house and stole something. I think it was something that belonged to her and Jim, and that his terrible parents think she's not good enough. And so now in their vengefulness, they're saying, we're going to get you.
Yeah, I definitely think like her reaction was of surprise.
Yeah, she didn't think that was what they were going to get her for.
I don't think she thought they were coming for her at all.
Well, she finally allowed herself a little happiness and she had settled in.
I was actually surprised too. I thought they were coming for Tom for some reason.
Oh.
But I didn't know like what for. I thought like
that was going to be the big. So you forgot about the in-laws?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. I was like, oh, they're going to arrest Tom for something. But then they just got her.
Do you find it interesting that when she's being taken away, she says, take care of her, Tom, or protect her, Tom? Not Hattie, not Olivia.
I do, yeah. She trusts Tom.
Yep.
Tom has established himself as trustworthy, I think. Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting that he's like, protect her. I thought it was interesting. But also, I think Tom is aware of Rebecca's concern for Sarah.
Yes, that's true. Tom knows the whole story.
Yes. I want to talk about Sarah for a second.
Oh, that's interesting. Actually, yes, let's talk about Sarah. But was this their plan all along? They accused Rebecca of theft. She's taken to prison. Now they can sweep in and come take Sarah back.
Maybe.
So let's talk about Sarah. Go ahead.
This child has endured so much. Which 11?
12?
Like her dad died. They've been on the run, grief, secrecy. Now this like kind of public humiliation, like your mom is being like not in cuffs because Alexander Vaughn was like, that's not necessary. But I feel bad for Sarah. And I have said this all season long, like Sarah plays such an adult role and she is a child. And now she's going to have to deal with like her mother being in Hope Valley jail or wherever they're going to be. And like, maybe her grandparents are going to come and try to like get her back. And maybe you're right that Tom is going to protect her. I don't know. But it's like, poor freaking Sarah.
Poor Sarah.
What becomes of Sarah? How many years is this before One Calls the Heart? We don't know. We don't know, like, we know Ned, the baby Ned, becomes whatever. But this Sarah, like, too old.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Is Sarah in When Calls the Heart? Let us know.
Email us. What other likes did you have?
I liked Clayton gets a little bit of a glow up. So I know we have not been particularly kind about the Olivia love triangle of it all, mostly because I think Olivia is a talented woman with a lot to offer, but her storyline has been largely reduced to her relationship with these two men.
Yes.
And your point is a good one. She makes the decisions based on the opinions of these men. When they're dancing, she spent a lot more time with Alexander in recent episodes. We've seen that relationship developing, but the Clayton relationship has much more history.
Sure.
And Clayton practices his dancing ahead of time, and Peggy helps him, which was very sweet. And the difference in the way the two men respond to her when she says, I'm moving away, Alexander's like, well, you got to go. See you later. And Clayton was like, originally said you can't go, but if you go, you must come back. You're so important to this town. You're such a big part of making it what it is. I'm glad that Clayton was finally able to say the things that he needed to say to Olivia. I think the way that's staged, it's telling us that Clayton's the guy. But now maybe I like it less, thinking like Olivia should have been able to get there without the input of these men.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it in my wishes.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about it. And the wishes. Finally, for me, finales can be kind of hit or miss. This is a finale that leaves me wanting to watch season 2.
Right.
Which is a clear sign to me like the season overall worked. I mean, I had some criticisms throughout it. We've talked about it. But I'm genuinely curious, like what exactly happened with Jim's family? How deep does this go? What's going to happen to Sarah? I'm interested. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad it got renewed for season 2.
Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about our wishes. Hey, Wendy, what did you wish for in this episode of Hope Valley?
Let's talk about Olivia. Okay, so this frustrates me as a modern woman watching this show.
Right.
And we know that I'm an old married lady, and I also get the time period that Olivia is in.
Right.
But it is frustrating for me watching Olivia wait for a man to define her future.
Yes.
We have Clayton who's like, no, you belong here. The town means so much. That feels like putting a lot of guilt on her to leave and pursue her dreams when her mom has already said, like,
I give you wings.
Go, fly, baby. And then we have Alexander who is like, yeah, go. And I truly think maybe she wanted Alexander to say, like, no, you should stay.
Sure.
And you know, when you're young and you really want like a man to chase after you, tell you not to go. I think that's what she was hoping for from Alexander. And he's like, no, you got to go. Like, bye, whatever. And I think she was disappointed in that.
I do too.
And so that is frustrating for me to watch. It's like, girl, have your own. This is your life.
Right.
But of course, like I'm trying to take in the time period here. So that is really frustrating for me to watch that unfold.
I agree with you. I can't honestly decide how I feel about it because on the one hand, I think you're right. She was disappointed by Alexander saying go. And she said, I may never come back. And he said, well, okay. Basically. Whereas Clayton, it's interesting because I feel like Clayton gives such a more impassioned speech to her. And yes, he does want her to stay. And he does, maybe there's a little bit of guilt there. Which one of them is speaking more to what is best for her is the question that I don't. Because Clayton, yes, he wants her to stay for him, but he also he says, like, you're such an integral part of the town. And I think that's very true. I don't think that's just lip service. Like, she's very important to these people. She has this relationship with Sarah.
But is he saying that because he is incapable of saying, like, I want you to stay. I want to be with you. I want to make a family.
I didn't think that was not indicated by his.
I think it was indicated, but still, like, it's still a mixed message.
Yes.
You know, oh, the town needs you to stay. You're such an integral part of the town. Like, yes, I don't believe it's lip service either, but also maybe it's easier for him to say that than his true feelings.
Yes.
Because he still potentially could be rejected because Alexander.
We don't get we don't know what she's going to do, but she's going to be there in the next season. Let's talk about Mr. Maxwell.
Yeah.
So we have not watched When Calls the Heart other than the first episode. Mr. Maxwell was looking for Cole. This feels just like a nice little, this is how we're going to connect the two. This place becomes Cole Valley. Before, I think Hope Valley is what it becomes after Cole Valley, which is very interesting to me. I don't fully understand. But that storyline was a little bit disjointed for me.
Yeah, I agree.
He was like, look at all these rocks. I'm looking for coal. I feel like it's just kind of like this is the direction we're going next season. We're setting it up.
Oh, do you think they'll move away from like the gold mining stuff?
Perhaps, because we know that that's the direction the town goes.
Yeah.
You know, when we meet up with them in the When Calls the Heart era.
So there's going to be prospectors coming looking for coal eventually.
Well, we know it's a coal mining town in the future. So yeah, maybe that's how it's a little more steady work, but very dangerous, obviously, because there's been that big explosion at the beginning of the series. When Rebecca went into his room, I was like, girl, you're going to get caught.
Yeah,
I was
scary.
stressed for her.
First of all, I was like, okay, I can justify why she's in there. This is like her boarding house, and if it's like a hotel, right? Like she's bringing fresh sheets and towels in there, but she's snooping around. And I have nightmares about like stuff like this. Like I have nightmares
about the hotel workers doing this.
No, of being caught snooping around in
absolutely.
somebody's like,
Absolutely. Me too. Well, and the one thing, she closed the door and I was like, well, now you're not going to hear him coming.
Yeah. What are you doing? Snoop better.
It just made me nervous. I did like that she didn't even apologize for it. And he was like, you went into my room. And she was like, that is my room, sir. And while I agree, it was his bag.
Yeah.
So, but he doesn't appear to be faking his British accent.
No, I do feel like I understand why they introduced him, but I also do feel it's a little bit oddly timed. We're in such a late part of the season, and then you put this kind of character in there, which I guess raises suspicions. Could he be the one stealing the gold from the other prospectors? So I understand, even though like I feel like the payoff seems a little like, okay, well, let's just put that in our back pocket for now. Like, Cole is coming.
Yeah, I think I am glad that Mr. Maxwell wasn't the one responsible for stealing the gold, though. I think it's an interesting twist to make it Jeremiah. It kind of fuels the fire of the ranchers versus the prospectors, and how the prospectors are like, well, he was a rancher first. I think it makes a lot more sense than having this outsider come in and just start stealing from them. Yeah,
it's really interesting when you just talk about that rancher versus prospectors. I mean, that's basically like the
core conflict
of any sort of narrative, really. Like even today, it could be like whatever. So like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, I hadn't thought about ranchers versus prospectors. I mean, we have talked about it because Tom and Doyle have like teed off all season long. But now we're going to get to like a wider spread community versus community.
Right.
So interesting.
Any more wishes?
Just one, and we kind of talked about it. I need more context into Rebecca's past. I guess we're going to get that in season 2. As a viewer, I need to be let in a little bit. Like she doesn't need to tell everybody else like what her business is and what she's running from. But as a viewer, I need to understand if she's like a good person on the run or like a bad person. Like I don't care if you're writing a diary or writing a letter to somebody or a
flashback.
A flashback would be great. Like give me something that I can understand what's happening. I don't like being like in the dark all season long about like what Rebecca is afraid of.
Right. Unless we take her, unless we assume she's a reliable narrator in what she's telling Tom.
Yeah, but she's basically just telling him like, oh, these rich people are scary. But why?
So. Well, let's talk. Did you see that?
I only have one.
Okay.
And it's kind of silly, actually. It's when Rebecca is being taken away and Sarah's like, Mom. And Hattie has like such this huge overreaction. Like she like comes up behind Sarah and like bear grabs her like, it's okay. Like, I'm like, chill, Hattie. Like you're making the situation like far more dramatic than it needed to be. That's all.
These guys have terrible hiding places for their gold. They're hiding it in a tree.
I know.
The gold is not heavy. Keep it on your person.
Totally. Put it in your underpants.
You don't have a pouch that you can put around your crossbody?
Something.
Why are we hiding it in a tree? I don't understand that at all. I would think there's gold to be stolen constantly, and it deserved to be, honestly, at that point. Tom and the constable racing each other. It was one of those like tough guy moments when they both like take off. I just found it amusing. And finally, I was watching this and my daughter comes in the room. She's like, hey, I know that guy. It was Clayton. And I said, who is he? She's like, hold on. And she's got her phone out. And she's like, is that Jedediah Goodacre? And I said, yes. And she goes, yeah, he was Chad on The Descendants. And I said, oh, I think we may have talked about that in episode 1.
Gen Z coming through
with their Disney original movies. Oh
my gosh. Speaking of The Descendants, I was recently at an arena in LA and I saw like an ad and they're doing some sort of like Descendants and 2 other like Disney like mashup live show. And I was like, in 2026, the Descendants are still pulling in audiences?
Evidently.
My kid dressed up as like somebody from The Descendants
so
for Halloween.
Mine.
Like,
had those purple hair extensions.
Yes. So like,
well, cheap plastic costume.
Write that out, Disney. Get your money.
That is funny. All right. I almost said, what did you rate this? But no. Okay.
I got a question. Are we going to review a season 2?
Yes.
Do you think it's going to come back at the same time of year next year? Probably. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
What I'm hoping for is
Did
that...
it start right after When Calls the Heart ended? Is that when this
right
started?
around the same time? Yeah. Yeah, so I imagine it's probably going to be the same time next year. So Hope Valley 1874 listeners, meet us here next year.
We'll be back. All right, thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. You know we love your 5-star ratings and reviews. Hit us with them in the Apple Podcasts app. We'll be back next time with more reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.